Okay, here in PowerPoint we have the what motivates us. So if I click on the PDF file here, I've got my instructions. And the first thing we need to do is open up PowerPoint and create a new PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to open up PowerPoint and do a blank presentation. And I don't want it to just be black and white. I want it to also have some color in the background. So I'm going to come up here to the Design tab. In the Design tab I have all these different options that I can choose from. If I click on this little More button, I even have more options. And I'm going to come down here to the Vapor Trail. These are in alphabetical order. So I'm going to click on Vapor Trail, and you can see I now have a nice little colorful background. I'm going to save this as motivation with your last name. So I'm going to click on File, do Save As. Going to go ahead and save mine on my computer. You might want to make sure that change yours and change it to your OneDrive. And just the most important thing is that you remember where you saved it at. And it's going to be called Motivation with your last name. Hit the Save button. Now it says Motivation Sessions up here at the top. I've got my theme changed to Vapor Trail. And then here in my title box, I'm going to click where it says click to add title and type in what motivates us. And in the subtitle box, I'm going to enter my name. You want to enter your name there in that subtitle box. Now we want to enter a text box. So we're not stuck with just this information on our title slide. We can also add things to it. So I'm going to go to the Insert tab, and I'm going to come down here to Text Box. And when I put my mouse over my title slide, you can see I've got a little button, and I can just draw a box there. And now I can start typing. It doesn't matter what size box you make. You can change the size to get your text entered in later, or so that your text shows in your presentation. And I'm going to put quote. And make sure you fix any spelling errors. I'm going to hit the Enter key, still in my text box, and I'm going to enter in the author of our quote, Albert Einstein. Want to change this font size of my text. So I'm going to select all the text in my text box, and then I'm going to come up here, and I can either use the floating toolbar right up here, or I can go to the Home tab and I can use this toolbar right up here. And this is where I'm going to change my font size. And I'm going to change my font size to 24 and my font name to Kandara. And your fonts are all in alphabetical order. Again, don't worry about your size of your box yet. We're going to be taking care of that. So here's Kandara. Change it there to Kandara. Then I want to select the size of the text box. It should be around 2 by 491. So if I have my text box, I'm in it, I've got my little circles around the edge. I'm going to come up here to my Drawing Tools and the Format tab. Now if you don't see this Drawing Tools Format tab, it's because you don't have your text box selected. So as soon as you have that text box selected, you can click up on this Drawing Tools and Format. All of this information up here are things that you can do to your text box. We can add color to the back of our text, change the outline. Here's where you can change the art with the words. And over here, the very last one is our text box size. So we want to make it 2 And then we're going to come down here and make this 4.91 so we can automatically tell it. Now you can also resize it by clicking over here on the corners and clicking and dragging. So we want this paragraph, the actual text, to be a justified alignment. So I'm going to highlight all of that and come up here to my Home tab. And in the paragraph grouping, I've got my align left, center, align right, and then justify. Justify, it just means it's going to distribute my text evenly between the margins, or in this case, evenly in the text box. But our Albert Einstein, we want that to actually be right aligned and italic. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to select right align after I select Albert Einstein. And then I'm also going to come up here into the I to make it italics. Okay. So even though we have one text box, we have part of it justified alignment and part of it right aligned. So you just have to select the text that you're wanting to change first. We want to move our text box up to the right upper corner of the slide, just like that. Now we're ready to save and move on to the next slide. We're going to insert a new slide with the title and content. So I'm going to come over here to on the Home tab to the new slide, and I want title and content. The title text box, I'm going to enter the text, "Others motivate us." You can see even if you use the cap key, it's going to be all capitalized because that's the way this particular design theme has set for titles in your PowerPoint slides. In the click to add text, we're going to enter incentives. And then we're going to get rid of this bullet point. And then add two more. Now we want bullet points. So I'm going to click to add a bullet point. And I want reward and then punishment. Now I want to increase this list level one time. So up here I've got my increase and decrease buttons. So I can increase my list level one time. So I've got my title and my two bullets. Now we want to insert a picture of somebody in a dunce cap. So to do that, I'm going to come up to my Insert tab, and I've got these different images that I can enter. A picture is something that you already have on your computer, or maybe it's on your phone and you want to get it off your phone. You would attach your phone to the computer and then click here. Online picture is where we need to go to find a person in our dunce cap. So I'm going to click on that online picture, and I'm going to, in my Bing image search, type in dunce cap, and you see, even though I spelled it wrong, it found some pictures. And so you just want to find somebody in a dunce cap, one of the pictures that you like, and insert. I'm just going to insert the first one here, and you can see it made it way too big. So I need to resize this picture. So if I look down here at the bottom of my instructions, you can see this is supposed to be a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to resize it. And then I'm going to click and I'm going to move it over Others Motivate Us. Just resize it and just move it. when you resize your picture, you want to use the corners. That's going to keep your pictures so that it's not stretched. If you use the sides, you can see how it stretches the picture, or you can make it all skinny. So I'm going to click my undo button here. If you use the corners, it's going to keep everything in the correct proportion. So make sure you use the corners. Okay. So now I've got my dunce cap. I want another picture of someone with a good mark on a paper. So first thing you need to do is click off of the dunce cap picture. Otherwise it would just take the place of this picture. So I'm going to go back to Insert, my online pictures, and now let's just put a paper and see what we can find. And we want to find somebody with a good grade. When you have all these at the first, these are what are called Creative Commons, so you can use them without having to worry about getting permission. If I click Show All Results, it's going to give me pictures of everything that I can use. Some of them, if they have little watermarks over it, then you might need to give them credit for it. I'm not seeing a picture of somebody with an A paper, so let's just type in student with a paper. Just going to find one. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this one here but you just put in different papers, and you can see down here it's got some information. And if I'm going to use this for something, I might have to get permission to use that. Since I'm using this for school, I don't have to worry about permission. So I'm just going to put it down here in the corner. And again, resize it by using the corners. Now we want to insert a 24-point star shape. So again, make sure you don't have anything selected. Just click off of it, go to Insert, and this time instead of a picture, we want a shape. So it's going to be in the next area over under Illustrations. So we're going to click Shapes. We come down here, there's stars, and we want to find the 24-point star. And our insertion point is going to change to a little plus sign. So we're just going to click and move our mouse to make it larger. Now when you do shapes, this is kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. But you can see in this shape I've got this little yellow arrow right here. If I click on that and move it in, I'm actually changing what my star looks like. And I can actually just take it all the way out so it's a circle too. But this is just something you can do anytime you see a little circle, yellow circle or yellow diamond or yellow square in a shape, then you can actually adjust the shape to some other shape that you want. So it's kind of fun to do. We want to change this though. So up here on our shape bar, shape tab, we want to change the shape fill to yellow. And we want a 1.5 weight black border. So I'm going to come up here. Here's my shape outline. Here's my weight, which is just how thick is my line. And it's 1.5. And then I want that shape outline, and I want to make sure that it's black. Just make it a little crisper. I want to enter the text star student in black on my star, so I can just click in my star, and I can just start typing. And by default, it's put it in here as white font, but we want it to be black. So what we need to do is select our font and come up here to our text fill button and change it to black. So now we have our black text. We want it to be actually black. Oops. I'm going to select my text again, come up here to my fonts, and we want it to be the black background one color. And that is the very first one. If you put your mouse over the colors, the name of the font or the name of the color will actually come up in a little box, so you can make sure you get the correct color. Then we want to resize the shape. Make sure that your text fits in the shape. Mine does. And we're going to make sure it's centered in there, and it should already be centered. If it doesn't, you can go to the Home tab and center to make sure it's centered in there. We're going to change the size of this a little bit. Come back out. I'm going to move my box. I'm going to make sure my mouse has that little four-headed arrow. Put it over here in the corner of my A paper. I'm going to click up here on this little circle. That's a rotate button. I'm going to click, and I'm just going to rotate a little bit so that my text is angled over that picture. Now I'm ready to save that, and I've got my other picture with my slide with all of my pictures in it. So now we're going to enter a new slide with title and content layout. So I'm going to go new slide. I want title and content, and for my title text box we're going to put in "We motivate ourselves." And then in our box at the bottom, instead of just putting a bullet list or some sort, we want to use SmartArt. SmartArt is text that's already, or it's a layout for text that makes it appear in a format. We're going to come down here, in our box we have 6 different items to choose from. We want to choose Insert a SmartArt graphic. Got all these different ways that are already templates that we can enter our text depending upon what we're wanting it to show. We want a vertical list, so I'm going to click here on the list, and then you just kind of have to look. And we want a vertical box list. They're not in any alphabetical order, so in this case it's in the second row, second column, vertical box list, and when I click on that, it's going to show me what it might look like. I can click on OK, and here we go. So now I can enter my text, and you can enter it either here in this box or over here where it says text. If you don't have this box, that's okay. You can close it. You can still enter text over here just like this. We're going to put mastery, independence, and contribution. We want to center the text in the boxes. So I'm going to go Home, I'm going to center, and center the text in all 3 boxes. Up here, when you have your SmartArt selected, you've got Design and Format. Now right here I just have this one contribution box selected. You can see I have my little sizing handles just around that box. If I click off of that box, now my sizing handles are around the big box, so I have everything selected in my box. What I want to do here, I want to change the color of my SmartArt to colorful range. So up here on my Design tab I have my Change Colors, and I want the colorful range, accent colors 5 and 6. This very last one here. And I want to change the SmartArt style right here to 3D inset. So there I've got my SmartArt all entered in there. I'm going to save my document and ready to insert a blank slide. So I'm going to go to New Slide, Blank, and I'm going to change the background of this slide. I want background to be an online picture of someone surfing. So here, if I scroll down here, you can see this is what I want it to be. So I'm going to go to Design, and over here on Design I have Format Background. Now this just isn't adding a picture and resizing a picture. This is actually changing the background. So I'm going to format the background. I've got a little navigation pane that pops up over here with some different options to choose from. I want the picture or texture fill, and then down here I can insert picture from File, Clipboard, or Online. Now my clipboard isn't active because I haven't copied and pasted anything. Anytime you copy something, then it automatically goes onto the clipboard. So I'm going to go to Online, and I want to somebody surfing. So I'm going to go surfer. Just going to go with this first one here. Actually, I'm going to go third one. And click Insert. Oh, and it didn't like that one. So let me find another one. Let's go ahead and go with this first one. Okay. That's one of my computer errors, I'm not sure. But just pick a different picture here, someone surfing. And so over here, I have my picture here. Now I want to recolor it to sepia. So I have these little icons at the top of my navigation pane, and this little last one is the picture. And under the Format Picture, I can come down here, and I have Picture Color. Here's Recolor, and I'm just going to change this recolor to sepia. And now I'm going to enter a text box. So I'm going to go to Insert, another text box, and draw it on here. And I want to enter, how do you find flow? I'm going to highlight my text in here, and I'm going to change it to Constantia. And I'm going to change the font size to 54. And I'm going to change the font to red accent 1 darker 25%. I want it to be right aligned. And then I want to change my text box size so it's 2, 2, and 1 on the words, and then move it up here in the corner. So I'm going to close this navigation pane. Here's my slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, and slide 4. Now when I look at the picture over here, I realize that this text is black. So I'm going to come up here. I'm supposed to change the color of my text to black background 1. So I'm going to come back up here to my text, my SmartArt on number 3, and I'm going to highlight my text and change it to black. So you always want to preview your work. So now I've got slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, and slide 4. Now the pictures don't have to match exactly, but make sure that overall, like here on slide 4, how to find flow, I need to move that over again too. And with this picture, if I put it clear over in the corner like we showed it, you're not going to be able to read it. So I'm just going to keep it right over here. I'm not going to count off for that. So now you're ready to save your file and submit it in Blackboard for grading.